Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. I'm joined here today by Matty from, you can see him on the Man United Agenda, actually, if you go check out that channel. We are talking the Premier League results this weekend. So smash a like, share, subscribe if you're watching. And here comes the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to the Premier League Weekend Show where we talk about all the weekend's results. I'm joined by Matty today. Matty, how are you doing?
All good here, thanks, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Bank holiday tomorrow, obviously, because the Queen's funeral. So that's why there's been some postponed games this weekend, people. So we're only going to be delving through the 7 that happened, including Friday's fixtures. And Matt, we are going to start off with today's games. We're going in reverse, people. And by the way, before we get into it, I have to put this up. Player of the weekend. Tell us yours in the comments if you can. Put them in. We'll discuss them at the end. And me and Matty will tell you ours. Also, starting off with Everton 1, West Ham 0. The game that just played recently finished at around about 4 o'clock. Matty, what did you make of this game? Everton finally getting the win that they needed. West Ham didn't do too badly, I think, from what I saw on my eye test. But what did you make of the game, mate, and your thoughts and what you saw?
It was a good game. I don't think it'll go down as a class game, but it was a decent watch. It's a big result for Everton. I thought they would struggle this season with losing Richarlison and not really investing in the right place in the squad. I expect them to struggle, but I have to say they've actually they're outdoing what I expected of them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matty. Yeah,
and this is a big result from West Ham on the other hand.
Yeah, they really needed that win, and they needed something from that, didn't they? West Ham, they're not doing too great at the moment. They had a really good performance in the Europa League on Thursday, of course, which you thought maybe will give them momentum going to such a place as Everton, because it is hard with the 12th man there as well. And I think at the end of the day, Everton just showed more attractive football, and they were hitting them hard. West Ham were giving it back though, and did have a few chances. Unfortunate for them for not get at least a goal or anything out of it.
Yeah, West Ham. You would have thought they would have built on the result they got in the Europa League by going to this, but I also think you look at that squad they've got. Is it big enough to cope with European football plus Premier League football? I'm not sure it is. I still think they're 1 or 2 players short in that position, and maybe we've seen a bit of a drop off from West Ham because they've not started the league season that brilliantly this year. With this result, they're now in the bottom 3, which is quite surprising. You wouldn't think that when you look at the trajectory of the West Ham over the past few seasons and what they've done and where they've got to.
Yeah. I mean, they finished 7th last year. They're in the Europa Conference. They got to the semi-finals of the Europa League. I mean, and it was a tough season for them because of Europa League last season. They still managed to get 7th place. They got some European football. So for them, that was an accomplishment, because like teams like Wolves, etc., that have been in the Europa League and haven't done well, don't do well in the league that same season. That's the thing, because you put there's extra games, isn't there? So it's a lot for the squad to deal with. Just to read out some comments. Talk says, big up. Yes, big up, Talk MU, mate. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smash the like if you can, people. Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. It really does help us out. Evening, Manny. Evening, gentlemen. How are you? Thank you for tuning in again, Manny. Big up, Anthony. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Who does Gunners from All Corners? Great show the other night, by the way. Really, really good. Manny says, I predicted an Everton win because I have been very impressed with the way Lampard has got them fighting as a unit. And they're scoring goals as well now. The Hammers are just struggling right now. And that's pretty much what you said, Matty, right?
Yep, definitely. And looking at the West Ham squad, when you take into account that they've got Europa League football, and playing on a Thursday, then on a Sunday, that's essentially, you've got to put travel into that, plus rest and recovery before you go again. And it's only a couple of days. So it is going to be hard for West Ham this season. I do expect them to pick up, though. I just think at the moment they're a tad bit out of form. Once they get that win under the belt in the league, they'll start climbing again.
Yeah, I think so, and I think David Moyes is a really good appointment for West Ham, and I think I agree with you. What you said earlier in your statement was the fact that West Ham didn't actually recruit too much this season. Yes, they got Skamaka. He was a good purchase, but he hasn't really shown anything in the Premier League. He got his goal in Europa the other day, but we need to see more of the new players that they're bringing through. But they have got talent, and they should be able to deal with it. I'm pretty sure they will get back up and running. There are other teams at the moment I am fearing for. We will talk about them in a moment's time. I'm going to take that one off, Anthony. Actually, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it because I'll probably forget. Anthony's player of the weekend was Son. And of course, we'll talk about that game in a moment's time. Let's move on to the next one, though. Brentford 0, Arsenal 3. Arsenal going back on top of the table because obviously Man City won their game at the weekend and they were on there for a little time. But Arsenal back on top, only losing one game as well this season. It's good from them. They needed to bounce back with this international break. It's unfortunate for Brentford. You thought they might be able to get something from this, especially being at home. What did you make of the result, Matty?
It's a very good result for Arsenal. Brentford, a very good team, good coach in Thomas Frank. Big result from as well to get the 3 points to go back in the league. It's known that the next game is against Tottenham after the international break. So they've got some good momentum going into that game because that's going to be a very tough game against Tottenham for Arsenal. We saw what Tottenham did yesterday against Leicester. So Arsenal needed to respond and they needed to going into that fixture. Knowing that the fact that there was missing a couple of key players in Odegaard and I can't think who else, but there was one more player out injured. It shows that they've got some decent squad depth.
Was it Zinchenko? Was he out?
Yeah, Zinchenko. It shows they've got some good squad depth in there to help alleviate with the injuries. Can Arsenal sustain this throughout the season? I'm not so sure, but at the moment they are doing well. I've got to give them their due.
You got to, and I think they look like they could deal with this a lot more better than they could last season. Yeah. That's what I think. I think they definitely could if they can continue this until Christmas, which isn't actually that far away, including the World Cup break that we've got coming up, which for some teams it will be good, some teams it will be bad, of course, because some players won't be match fit if they're not going to the World Cup, unless clubs play like these friendlies that they think they're going to do. So maybe that will happen. But at the same time, yeah, this is good for Arsenal. Definitely is. And if they can keep, like I say, if they can keep that until Christmas, keep the momentum and keep getting wins and draws and not dropping points with losses, then they definitely could be contending for the title. But yeah, it's Arsenal and sometimes they do fall off a slip. But this is where I think maybe Arteta's probably going to get the best out of his team this season. I know Arsenal fans will disagree with me on that. Read out some comments then. I'd go for a left field pick. Bournemouth goalkeeper Neto Morara would be a player of the week. He's been key in Bournemouth's recovery and had a flawless game against the Magpies at St James's Park. Completely agree. We will talk about that game too as well. We will read out these comments at the end, your players of the weekend. And if you do have one, put them in the comments and we will show them once they're up and at the end as well. And we will discuss them. Anthony Herbert says, Vieira, what a goal that was indeed brilliant indeed. Good win for Arsenal. Passing and attacking was good, but did this without breaking a sweat. Talk MU says Arsenal will beat Tottenham, in my opinion. It'll be a very tough game. I mean, Tottenham look very good, and we are going to talk about them, of course. Big up Talk, big up Cuz, and big up Manny. So yes, everybody, please, if you can, if you're watching right now, let us know your player of the weekend, who you think was the most outstanding player of this weekend. That includes Friday's games as well. Anything more to say about the Arsenal and Brentford game? What about Brentford, mate? I really thought they might be able to get something out of this, but it was a straight win for Arsenal. I think they just dominated, didn't they?
Yeah, Brentford, since they beat Man United, I'm not sure what's happened to them. I think they've lost a bit of confidence, and he changed the system around today. They normally play 3 at the back, but he went 4-3-3. And that I don't think that helps. When you've got a settled system and formation, you stick to it. I don't think should be changing it. With Brentford though, they'll bounce back. They're a good team, got a good coach. I think it's just one of them games. I don't think they planned on getting anything from this game, to be fair. So I think they'll look more at some of the other fixtures, go, yeah, these are winnable games.
Nice little chance from King Tony, wasn't it, as well? I think it was a flick up, wasn't it, from the free kick, and then he tried to lob it in. Did you see that? It's quite nice. I wish it would have paid off, but it didn't. I think I say King Tony all the time. Ivan Tony, sorry. Brilliant player. Let's move on to the next games. We were talking about Spurs and how they dealt with Leicester. And it was actually quite a close game up until, I think, Son come on. Brilliant performance from him. He got the hat-trick as well. Came on, of course, as a substitute because he hasn't scored this season, but he has now. He's actually probably up there at the top of the top goal scorers at the moment, at least in the top 5 or 6. What did you make of the result, mate? Leicester still rock bottom, only 1 point, haven't won a game this season. Brendan Rodgers under fire, of course. What do you think, mate?
This classic case, excuse me, classic case of a game of 2 halves. First half, it was fairly even. Second half, though, Leicester just, I don't know what happened to them. They seemed to just capitulate, especially when Son came on. You've seen the difference in management and in squads as well. Spurs were able to bring on Son. You look at the Leicester bench, they don't really have that option on there. I've got to say, I think Rodgers' time's up. I think he's got to go. I don't see Leicester improving from where it was a couple of years ago and what they was doing. They've stagnated massively.
Is this because, Matty, because they haven't recruited this season? Because I know Brendan Rodgers didn't necessarily come out and say it's the owner's fault or whatever, but at the same time, they haven't really bought in any players. They've let go of a few players too, and I know that they're having troubles with the financial problems because of COVID, etc. Yeah. Do you think that he will get sacked, or do you think they're just going to have to stick with him because at the end of the day they haven't been able to bring him any gifts in the transfer window this summer?
I think he will get sacked. We know it's a results business, and you look at the results and look at the performances. They've just not been nowhere this season for Leicester. You can say he's not been able to buy anyone, but it still doesn't equate to some basic principles of coaching and getting the team to actually go out there and play. Now, I watched the game, and some of the Leicester players look disinterested. I think coaches can only take teams so far, and every coach will run a set course with the club. And I think Rodgers has done that at Leicester. I think he has to go now. Sometimes parting of the ways is best for both club and coach.
Yeah, and you might be right there, Matty.
No, for all the great work Rodgers has done at Leicester, and I don't want to take anything away from him on that. I don't feel he can take him any further. I think they need a change coach. They need a fresh start, and I think Brendan needs a fresh start himself.
Right, yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously he left Celtic because he thought there was... I guess he was told by the board that this opportunity at Leicester where he wouldn't be able to get the same funds at Celtic, but with this season coming in and selling players and not actually investing into it, it's changed a little bit, which, Brendan Rodgers wants to be back pretty much every single summer, wants to rebuild, wants to keep momentum and not try and get the best out of players if he literally can't because they're disorientated about where they are and if they want to move, like, you've seen it this season, especially with Wesley Fofana, didn't you? And the situation there. But look, Son, we got to talk about Spurs really because it was a tremendous win, and him getting the hat trick, 2 beautiful goals as well. Underrated player, right, mate? I don't understand. Like, he is to me a world class midfielder, truly.
Yeah, definitely. Son's up there with the best in the world. When you talk about the Manes, the Salahs, the Rashards, the Sanchos, the Pulisic's, the Sterlings, all these wide forward options, Son's up there with the best in the world as far as I'm concerned. He's just a brilliant player, whether it be from the left, from the right, or through the middle, which he has played a few times. He's always been able to get goals and assists. He didn't have the best start to the season, but what do I try and see your critics? Come on, you come on, there's a sub and you score a hat trick. And Spurs having Arsenal in the next game. Arsenal are in really good form, but this Spurs team is very dangerous with Conte. And then you look at the front three: Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. That's a dangerous front three. They can and will score goals. You cannot underestimate them. And they're...
Go on, sorry, mate.
And they're solid in midfield with Bentancur and Højbjerg, and they've got the option of having Bissouma there.
It was a good goal from Bentancur, wasn't it, as well? Nipped it off of Ndidi and slotted it on the right-hand side post, tucked it away beautifully. Son as well, being substituted as well, didn't throw his toys out the pram. And his speech or his interview after the game was remarkable. That's a professional football player there, ladies and gentlemen, who knows that he's got to show his worth. If he's getting substituted, there's obviously something. There's no point in suddenly, once you get substituted, going to the press and moaning about it, kind of like Lukaku did when he went to Chelsea. You don't do that sort of stuff when you're angry about not getting in the team. You show it on the training field, or you show it when you get brought on as a substitute. And he did that exactly. He answered his critics, like you said. I thought that was amazing from him. And Anthony's already said he's his player of the weekend. He was my player of the weekend too, but I've chosen another one now because obviously I'm pretty sure maybe you as well, Matty, but you might. We'll wait till the end. You can tell us at the end. But he was going to be one of my players of the weekend. Just to read some comments here. King's Football Show. Big up, King, mate. Just watched yours as well. Very good indeed. Anthony Herbert, I think Odegaard might have a bit of competition with Vieira playing like he did and in other games if he's given the opportunity. Mama Flossie, evening. Big up to you, Mama Flossie. Thank you so much for coming by. Anthony Herbert, Leicester are done for. I can see Rodgers getting sacked. The only good thing out of this game is the 2 goals they've scored. Completely agree with that. Yeah, they weren't bad goals anyway, were they? I think Maddison scored a really nice goal. Talk MU, well said, Matty B. Manny says, I backed Rodgers at the beginning, but now he's done. No way he can continue. He looks as though he's done. Do you think it's going to be done before the international break, or do you reckon they're going to wait until after, give him another game, see how he goes, and then call it a day?
I think it'll probably be done after the international break, but I think the international break is the best time to do it because you
get
don't
somebody
have to
in.
You don't have to worry about the fixtures or anything. You can get rid of him in the international break. It gives you a better time to go, right, we'll get this coach in, and it'll give them a chance to start planning stuff out with that period, and they don't have to worry about fixtures or games. But Rodgers definitely has to go. But I just don't see what he's going to do now with Leicester. It's sad that we talk about him not bringing in players. He brought in Boubacar Soumare from a French team. I can't think which one, and it's not really used him much. And he came with a decent reputation as a young prospect, and it's not used him. So Rodgers, you can't really use the excuse for Rodgers to say it's not been backed. He has had a fair few players brought in, and it's just not utilised them, or it's not worked out for him for whatever reason.
Yeah, I get that, but I guess looking at it from, I mean, hearing Leicester fans as well, and they say you got to look at the age now of some of the players that are there. Vardy's getting on; he hasn't really started very well recently. Their back line's not that great. Johnny Evans is getting on too. They lost Kasper Schmeichel. They lost Fofana. Lost a couple of other players. Tillemans is a bit shaky, isn't he? He missed a penalty. Obviously scored a penalty after that because of VAR. Said the keeper was off the line. But he doesn't seem like he necessarily wants to be there. They just probably didn't want to get rid of him. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Matty. At the end of the day, Rodgers has got to get the best out of what he's got. That's pretty much the way that Leicester are changing things now because of financial problems, apparently. So the club says. They do put in a lot for Leicester as well, the city in general. So it's not like they don't do anything for them. Big up, everybody. There's 10 people watching right now. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can, and tell us your player of the weekend. Who do you think was the best player this weekend? King's Football Show says the problem with Leicester is that they don't have any money. That's what I was saying. So any manager coming in won't be backed, and that's why they have not sacked him. Because, yeah, the agreement when he arrived from Celtic was they would be able to at least build the team, even if they do sell players. But this season doesn't seem to be that way. And it makes Brendan Rodgers look like, well, I've signed up for something and it's changed a little bit in the last year or two. And that's understandable. But I agree with you, Matty. I think maybe it's time to move on, get somebody in who can deal with the way that the football club has to go in the future, because they can't just keep spending out. Manny says King's Football Show, which is why they'll probably ask his deputy to take over until maybe January. Big up, Brush in the house. Big up, mate. Hope you're doing well. We will come back with United Across the Globe once the international break's over. We are going to be talking about football around Europe and the world during the international break. For Football United Airways, the show is coming back. Football United Airways, because literally we take flight to different countries and talk about their leagues. Domestic, of course. Talk MU, big up Saeed, and big up Brush. And hi, Mama Flossie. I love that name, Mama Flossie. Brilliant. Next game then, Matt. Next game, which is Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. What did you make of this result, mate? I thought Newcastle were going to storm this. They were playing beautiful football. The fans are loving it at the moment. You see so much momentum. Eddie Howe's getting the best out of the team, the squad. He's been backed as well. Maybe not as much backed as much as some people thought they would be with this takeover, buying Mbappe's and Pogba's, etc., etc. Is not the case. They're building it slowly. They're not trying to just get straight up to top four. They're going to do it each year, try and gradually build further on to top four or maybe even winning the league. But what did you think of this, mate? And it's unfortunate for Bournemouth as well. They put in a decent performance because it's hard going to Newcastle and getting a draw or a win. But good for them, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's a very good point for Bournemouth, and I have to say, since they got beat by Liverpool 9-0, they have actually picked up some decent form and getting some good results. I'm surprised they got the point against Newcastle, but it's a very good result for them. Newcastle, I wouldn't expect them to go crazy in the transfer window, to be fair. They're building infrastructure. They're not just going out and splashing the cash on whatever players are available. They're actually building for proper long-term benefits of the club as a whole and the project that is now with them. So although they've not spent they've spent very wisely.
Yeah.
I thought they should have got more at this game. but I think a point either way, it's probably a fair result. In all honesty, I think Bournemouth. I don't think Bournemouth deserve to lose, and Newcastle just for me didn't quite do enough to warrant the win.
Well, Bournemouth, mate, they've been doing a lot better since Scotty Parker's left. I don't understand. That was maybe a good board decision, right?
Yep, definitely. Scott Parker's time was done when he essentially done the interview just after the Liverpool game. No, you can't go around saying what he said in public, and expect to keep your job, because he called the ownership out about the recruitment from coming into the Premier League. It doesn't go down well, and since then, Bournemouth have picked up good form, and I think they're kind of trying to show Scott that, look, we are a decent squad of players. We might not be world class, but we're not bad enough to be getting dropped 9-0 by teams.
Exactly, and I think they've got new owners as well, Bournemouth, right? American owners, or that looks like it's going to be happening, doesn't it? What are your thoughts on that, mate? You heard about that?
I've not really heard much about it. I'm all for new owners coming into the league, but I want these owners to come in, and I want them to allow these football clubs to be proper football clubs. As a United fan, I have to say watch the Glazers. I didn't want Liverpool having Hicks and Gillette just before FSG took over. We saw what they done with Liverpool. They almost destroyed them. Now, what these owners have to remember now when it comes to buying the clubs are a staple part of the communities that they represent, but also England's national pastime and England's national sport.
Exactly, 100%.
If owners are going to come in, don't take money out and don't run the clubs into the ground. No, just allow football clubs to be football clubs.
Yeah, don't make them into a franchise. It's not about. I mean, there is a business side to football clubs. We do know that, but I think, like you said, Man United are literally the only ones that do take money out of the club. And Chelsea owners, they probably will want to see some money back for the amount of money they've put in. I'm just going to read out some comments because I'm going to make everybody feel hungry, because there's lots of comments about food, which is always good. Let me go back up to this here. Talk MU, Mama Flossie, how are you? I just had a roast pork dinner, feeling very full. Yeah, it sounds beautiful, mate. What sauce did you have on that? Do you have any? Was it marinated in anything, mate? You're making me hungry now. Better result for Bournemouth, to be honest. Yeah, I completely agree. Manny says Gary O'Neill has been excellent since replacing Scott Parker. The proactivity he displayed after that 9-0 was brilliant. Made changes and they paid off. 2 of their 3 goals conceded were penalties. Completely agree. Mama Flossie, I'm good. Thanks for asking. I bet you were feeling full after that talk, MU. What's a bigger punishment for talk? Fasting or not watching Man United? Big up King's Football Show. Anthony Herbert says, I tip Newcastle to win this, but fair play to Bournemouth, sticking to their guns, hence the draw. Talk MU. Mama Flossie, it was lovely, but I think I can squeeze in a Nui chocolate ice cream. Oh my God, you're making me hungry, people. That's a tough one, says Mama. And there's a smiley face there. Mama says she had a bowl of cornflakes. There you go. That's standard Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon for you. Bowl of cornflakes, baked beans on toast in the late evening. Talk MU. Oh, Flossie, crunchy nut cornflakes is a real problem and weakness of mine. We will shout out everybody's comments if you do have a comment about something that's not about football. I'm not a whiny sort of host, so I will shout them out. Static, big up, mate. Static, mate. Hey, Matt and Matty, how are you doing, bro? Talk MU, yo, Static. I love them, she says, Mama. Talk MU, yo, talk, my bro. The man of 6 stomachs has spoken. Brilliant. Talk MU, big up to you. And for me, it's chicken, lamb, or even beef over pork for me. Well, you're telling me all your dishes and your favourite meals. Why don't you tell us your favourite player of the weekend this weekend. Put them in the comments because we are only about 3 games left and then we're going to delve into that. If you can put them in the comments, please, and smash the like, share, subscribe. It really would help. So I can't not watch Man United, bro. He does watch alongs for every single Man United game. So big up to you on that talk. Going straight back into it though, Wolves 0, Man City 3. Man City obviously were on top of the table for a very short time until Arsenal won, of course. Unfortunate for Wolves, they've dropped down points as well. You thought they would have done a little bit better at the start of this season. I fear for them. I definitely do, Matty. What's your thoughts on this?
Routine win for Man City. I didn't watch all of this game. I've seen bits of it, but I didn't expect Wolves to get anything. And then when Nathan Collins got sent off, that ended it as a contest. It was just a matter of how many were Man City going to score. Man
and
City,
Haaland, yeah, and Haaland,
yeah, Haaland. He's going to break records this season, and as a United fan, I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. I expect nothing less. Wolves, I said before, Wolves, they're a good team. They're just missing that clinical number 9, and I don't think they've actually won and got it. I know they brought a couple of strikers in. They brought Sasa Karadzic in from Stuttgart and Diego Costa in as a free agent. I don't think that's the answer to their problems, though. I don't think Costa's going to get in the goals. I don't think Karadzic is. And I don't think Jimenez is. They need a proper number 9 who can score. I expect the front three combined probably to get 20 goals this season between the 3 of them, and that's Karadzic, Jimenez, and Costa. Wolves, I don't think they'll be in trouble, but I don't think they'll be finishing as high as they did last season. They still have a couple of areas where they need to improve. The goal scoring area is one of them, and I still think they need a centre back. I think
you say centre back, so they got rid of Cody. He went to Everton, so they didn't replace him. Obviously, is that something that's not helped them? And like I think you said as well, does it seem desperate to go for Costa?
I think going for Costa seemed a bit of a desperate move, but I understand it. They've got Jimenez out injured. They brought in Karadzic. He's also out injured. So essentially, they've got no proper number 9. So bringing in Costa on a free kind of makes sense because it gives them an option up there. But are them 3 collectively going to score enough goals? I don't believe they are. And defence, they lost Connor Cody to Everton. They also lost Willy Bolly to Nottingham Forest. I don't think they've replaced them too either. So they do need to look at that area and try and get a centre back in January if they can.
Yeah, I completely agree. You think Man City are going to run away with it now, or what do you make of them? I mean, yes, they've been winning, but they haven't been completely convincing. I think literally Haaland's been getting them out of some sticky situations.
Man City, they've not looked brilliant, but they're winning. The hallmark of a great team is winning when you're not in good form.
Yeah.
But we've saw Man United in the past have bad games, but still win them and take the points. I expect City to win the league, especially as the main challengers, Liverpool, seem to have fallen away this season. And I'm not sure what's going on there. And I don't really see any standout candidate team that's going to sit and challenge them.
No, I don't. I mean, obviously Arsenal are at the moment, but can they keep that momentum?
Well, that's the thing with Arsenal. Can they keep the momentum? I don't think they can. I think that run in the season, you'll start to see them drop.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's all right, mate. It's fine. It's Sunday. Everybody's burping on their roast dinners and etc. etc. Let's read out some comments again. We've got 2 games left, people, and then we're finishing up. Put your player of the weekend in the comments. I've seen a few people have done it already. Whoever you thought was the best player. You don't have to be biased for your own club. You can just be anyone that you feel you enjoyed watching. Let's move back up to the top then. Talk MU static, LOL. Manny says, I already did, mate. Neto from Bournemouth. Yeah, actually, he was very good, actually. Probably the reason why they got the draw. Yes, Manny, I agree, bro. I just fancy something different, but Lamb is my go-to. Mama Flossie says Man City are just scary. Absolutely are. They really are. It's crazy. I mean, maybe Champions League for them this year. Definitely final. Static says, talk, haha. Favourite players? Grealish. Flossie, they are a real problem in regards to the possibility of the treble. Favourite player, Grealish, what, for the weekend, mate? Yeah, possibly, mate, yeah. As an Arsenal fan, I choose Saliba. Yeah, he had a really good game. He had a really good game indeed. Son, yeah, I completely agree with Son. Talk, they are just a problem. Wolves are struggling at the moment, but the only good thing about them is their midfield. You look at that, and that's a top 6 midfield right there.
Definitely.
Mama Flossie agreed, says Talk. Anthony says, looks like a free way for the league at the moment with Arsenal, Man City and Tottenham. Completely agree. Spurs are doing very good. Mama Flossie, sorry for asking, but are you Flossie Ball, who I follow on Twitter? Have to give it to Son. See, so I think Son's won it already. The majority of people in the comments have put Son as the Premier League player of the weekend. Matt, are you the best host on YouTube, bro? Oh, you're saying you are the best host on YouTube, bro, and you always do quality streams. Matthew Bessett equals legend.
Thanks, Talk. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Talk. That means a lot to me, man, because I do love hosting. That's the reason why I do the channel, because I really love hearing people's opinions on football. And I want to hear your opinion of the Premier League weekend player. If you can, put it in the comments if you already have. Apologies, but trying to get other people that are watching. There are 11 people in the stream right now. Smash like, share, subscribe if you can. We've got 2 games left, and this is a shocker for a team that has added 21 or 22 players to their roster this season, and it's not looking very good for Nottingham Forest, is it? And Fulham, not Fulham. Everybody's saying they're full. I'm saying Fulham. Yeah, there you go. Fulham doing good. 3-2 win for them, mate. What did you make of this result? Disappointing from Nottingham Forest. You'd have thought they'd at least be getting wins from teams that got promoted like them.
Yeah, definitely. With Forest, I think they've brought in too many players. They've brought in over 20 players. It's going to be very hard to pick your starting 11 out of that. That's essentially 2 full starting lineups, and you've got to create one starting lineup out of that, and you're going to upset a lot of people, and you've got to find the right balance. I think that's something Steve Cooper will struggle with doing, with bringing in that many players. Big result for Fulham, especially coming from behind and taking the points.
Yeah.
I expected it though. One thing that surprised me is Mitrovic wasn't on the score sheet, but he was influential in the match. As for Fulham, I think they'll stay up. I don't see them having any issues in that. Forest, I am a tad bit concerned about.
What do you think it is, mate? The fact that they have brought in so many people and they can't quite gel? Or do you think they haven't brought in the right people and they've bought a little bit sloppy? And also talking about Silva as a manager, underrated. He's done quite a good job so far. He's getting results that he really does need to get. If you're, like I said, if you're a promoted team and you're facing a promoted team, you really want to be winning those games because it's practically a championship game in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, definitely. Marco Silva, he's always been a decent coach. He's not a great coach, but he's a decent coach. He done well at Everton a few years back. With Forest, I think they've gone out and spent on quantity rather than quality. Have they brought in the right quality of players? I don't think now, but I think they've just gone out and just brought in a number of players, just kind of hoping it works. And it's not really a solid plan coming into the Premier League. It doesn't make sense to bring in that many players because it'll also unsettle the starting 11 that you've already got, knowing that there's that many players coming in. And when you've got that many players, you've got to try and find the right balance and cohesion between the team. And I think that's something Forest are struggling with now, and I think it's showing. I do
Yeah,
think
go on,
I
mate.
do I do think Forest will go down this season just because they've overcompensated by bringing in too many players.
Yeah, I agree. I I don't want them to go down. I think they do as a club and their history. Winning two European Cups under Brian Clough and everything they've had to go through with getting relegated and taking so long to get up. I want to see them stay up like Leeds have. But I don't know. I think I agree with you. I think they are going to struggle. They really need this break now, this international break, to get the players together, maybe go out on some dinner dates, just get them to, because it just seems like they're just a bit lost between each other, the way they play as well. And it kind of shows it on and off the field, if you know what I mean. It is strange times for Nottingham Forest because obviously they got a whole new two squads and they haven't really done very well. Let's go and read out some comments. We've got one more game left, I believe. Yeah, one more game left. Everybody, smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. And thank you so much for tuning in. There's been so many people coming in. Comments, here we go. We've got loads to get through. Got loads to get through here. Kings Football says Son, unfortunately. That's for his player of the weekend. I bet that hurt to say that, say. Didn't watch any football this weekend, but that Son hat-trick was special. Yes, big up my mate Jay Jabrock. That's you in Vegas, isn't it? That's you in Vegas in that picture. Lovely, man. No gang signs allowed, though, on the stream, okay? So I won't be putting that picture again. I'm joking. Jabrock, big up, bro. Yo, talk. Yeah, that's my boy Jay, man. Anthony Herbert. Fulham was faved to win this, I reckon, but wait for the next window after the World Cup. Rumours have it Forest have signed 45 players in the total season. Well, they might need to if they go down next season because they're going to be losing quite a lot. King's Football Show, big up Fulham, scoring 3 goals, and none of them was Mitrovic. It's good for them. Mitrovic reminds me of like a Harry Kane. He doesn't necessarily score the goals, but he can like sort of track back and make things happen, which is exactly what I think Matty was going on about, the fact that he had a very big contribution to the result. Manny says Henderson needs to be dropped. Silva has done well, but this is the same manager who struggled badly with Watford and Everton and Hull, right? I predicted a Fulham win, but not with so many goals. Steve Cooper must identify his best 11 quick and leave rotation until they become safe in the league, in my opinion, says Talk. Anthony says, Matt, that was Jim Carrey from Liar Liar with the fishing. You are right. King's Football Show, didn't Forest lose like 20 players from last season's squad? They did lose quite a lot. They did. That is true. So they really did need to bring players in. But whether they could have brought players through the academy, I'm not sure. But there was a little bit of an issue with the players they had last season championship were not registered to play for them in the Premier League. I'm not sure whether that was the same thing with Lingard, the fact that he's only on a 1-year contract, whether they did that with players in the championship or not. I'll have to delve into that a little bit more and find out. But I have heard that, King. Very well said from you. Say they let too many go and bought in too many. But I think they had to let these players go. I think their contracts had run out. 16 likes. Thank you all. Yes, thank you. And if you haven't, please use your index finger. It won't hurt. I promise you. Jab Rock. Yeah, man. Big up Amondi from the Man United Agenda. Greetings, Matt and Matt. Matty B. Did you play Sunday League today? There you go, Matty. There's a question for you.
No, not today. I had the day off. I had the line instead.
You had the line. See, look at that. Look, doing two things, killing 2 birds with 1 stone there, mate. You're playing and doing the linesman, yeah? If only, mate, eh? Be biased to yourself, wouldn't you? It's poor from Forest. You can't let go and bring in so many players and think it will work out. I completely agree with that. It has done sometimes in the past. I think Fulham had that, didn't they, fair few seasons ago, and they went straight back down. Yes, Amondi says Talk MU, evening Borowski. Amondi doing well in the Fantasy League. He's above all the Man United Agenda streamers. There you go. Oh, Amondi knows his stuff, mate. You know what I mean? So he takes notes, people. You know, if you're playing Amondi in a Fantasy League, you're probably going to get dealt a swift blow because he's very good at it. Love from Talk MU. We got the last game here now, Matty. We're going to talk about that. Talk about your Premier League player of the weekend. If you haven't done that already, put it in the comments. I think Son's won it at the moment. He's got the most votes. And the last but not least, we're going to talk about Aston Villa 1, Southampton 0. Gerrard getting 3 points. Good to see, wasn't it? Keeping a clean sheet as well. Unfortunate for Southampton. They haven't been too bad recently. But what do you make of this result, mate?
Good result for Villa. They didn't start the season too well. They picked up, I think that's 2 wins from 2 now, if I'm not mistaken, for Villa. So they're starting to pick up form again. Southampton, I expected slightly more off them, off recent results. They recently beat Chelsea. So I think they'll be a bit disappointed that they didn't get anything from this game. But overall, Southampton will bounce back. I think they'll pick up results next game. And Villa, they're starting to build good momentum. And I think they have to with what Gerrard spent in the summer and the players he's brought in.
Coutinho had a good game as well, right? I haven't seen him play like that for quite some time, at least since he played for Bayern Munich. Made a big impact. Was a lot faster as well on the ball, made some good dribbles and shot outside the box and took them chances or tried to take chances. And I think that's what he's been lacking in his game. And I think that's what Gerrard wants to see from him. Yeah,
definitely. What we're seeing from Coutinho now is starting to get back to what we know he can do. We all saw what he can do at Liverpool. He might not reach that level again, but he's coming into much better form than what we've seen at Barcelona when he went there. I think this Villa team is suited to the way he plays, but you've also got to allow him to have a bit of a free role because he's that kind of creative number 10 where he wants to take place on, he wants to take a shot, he wants to try them very intricate through balls. And when you've got players like that, you kind of have to allow them just to go do what they're good at. And I think Villa are allowing him to do that now as a squad collectively, and they're just they're freeing him up to go do what he's good at, and then they're just covering him in case he makes a mistake. But good result for Villa, building good momentum, getting back on track after a slippy start to the season. Southampton lost a bit of momentum by losing this game, especially with what they had built up, beating Chelsea and all. But I think Southampton will be all right. I don't think they'll struggle in relegation this season. I think they've got a tad bit more about them as a squad than some of the other teams in and around there. And Villa always improving. And that I wouldn't say top 6, but I think Villa can get top 7, maybe top 8 finish, and maybe look at Europa League football if they continue and if they spend right in January.
I think the break will be good for him as well, won't it, this week, to be able to get Gerrard setting straight exactly what he wants to see. And how consistent he was as a player. I'm pretty sure he wants the same with his players as a manager. Right, we're pretty much at the end, mate. I'm going to just shout out a few more comments. Let us know who your player of the weekend is, everybody, in the comments. If you can, that would mean so much. Where are we? Talk is third from bottom, but he'll be all right. Talk says, "Cuz something happened with my fantasy league." What's happened, cuz? I dropped out because that's what happened. Okay. I seen your team, cuz. You had all the Forest players in there. Brilliant. Matty, who was your player of the weekend? Let us know, mate. Who do you think you enjoyed watching the most?
Player of the weekend. It's got to be Son from Spurs to come on, score a hat-trick.
As a substitute.
Yeah, to come on, score a hat-trick as a substitute and to have a big impact in the squad and in the game. You can't really take it away from him. He's got to be the standout player of the weekend. It's very rare players come on and score hat-tricks, and he's done that. And it's not like he's done it against a terrible team. This Leicester team isn't that bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad either. So, no, he's a very good player, and he proved it once again. Not that he proved he's got the right attitude. He let his footballing do the talking for him. He was on the subs bench rather than sit, drop, sulk, whatever. He's come on, he scored a hat trick. That'll send a message to Antonio Conte. No, you can't drop me again. Next game I'm starting. And that's where it becomes dangerous for Arsenal, because having somebody like him on the pitch, he can and will exploit weaknesses within the Arsenal team, the Arsenal starting 11.
Yeah, if you give him space like he had yesterday, he's going to do some damage. And it's just, I think the way he answers it, instead of like just coming out in the press, he answers it by performing on the field and in training if he has to. And that's the only way you should be able to answer critics, is perform at your highest level like he is and be very professional and humble about it too. My player of the weekend is for different reasons, is Jesus. And the reason why is because he did the dance at the end to shout out Vinicius Jr., who's been getting a lot of racist chants from fans in, might have been in the Bernabeu, it might have been the away game, I can't quite remember. But fans in Spain literally giving him a lot of crap because of the colour of his skin. And I just think it's outrageous. And it's good to see support, especially from his fellow countrymen, do the dance and enjoy it and celebrate it. And Vinicius Jr. is a brilliant player. He doesn't deserve to get any criticism, especially of that kind. It's disgusting and it should be kicked out of football. And I just hope that everybody backs him up and sticks up for people like Vinicius Jr. and anybody else around the world that gets any culture or racism thrown on toward them by fans, because it's absolutely disgraceful. So Jesus, big up to you, mate, for doing that and shouting him out as well, because it brings media attention and it shows people that there's only a minority of people that unfortunately do this stupid crap. So yeah, big up to you, Jesus, and big up to Vinicius Jr. of Real Madrid too. Where are we now? We've got some sorry,
quickly, any form of discrimination, whether it be racism, sexism, homophobia, to do with race, religion, culture, etc., should be outlawed in football. The game is for everyone. You should never be picked up because of the colour of your skin, your sexuality, your religion, your race, whatever. Utterly disgusting from their fans to target Vinicius about race simply because he was dancing and scoring. Should never be doing that. It needs to be kicked out of football straight away.
Yeah,
it's abhorrent. And to the people who are doing it, now you need to go look at yourselves as people and go, why am I this way inclined against that particular person? We're all human at the end of the day. There's no need for it. There's no just for it. There's no defense for it. It's utterly disgusting. The quicker we can do something to find out the fans who are doing it inside the stadium and ban them from the stadiums, and that the better. It's atrocious that in this day and age we're still having to have a conversation and talk about discrimination within the game.
Yeah,
it should be unheard of. It shouldn't be around. It simply shouldn't be here. It's absolutely disgusting.
I completely agree, Matty. But I think the positive thing is the fact that it is only a minority and we are here talking about it and showing support. And I'm sure that 99.9% of people around the world are the same. And if they aren't, then only education, you will find prosperity, happiness, and a better life for yourself, because you're not living a good life if you pick out people for the color of their skin or culture, like we said as well, and everything else. So big up to Jesus and Vinicius Jr. as well, like Talk said as well, disgusting behaviour towards him. Absolutely agree. From your own fans as well, absolutely disgusting. I agree with you 100%. Matt, which Matt? I think we're both on the same page anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, both of us. Thank you, Anthony. Thanks for the lovely welcome. See you all again soon. Great stream, by the way. Thank you, Mama Flossie. We are finishing up now. We're on the hour mark. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. The Premier League Player of the Weekend was Son. So big up to Son for the hat trick coming on as a substitute. One more here. Good stream. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you indeed. Matty, thank you so much for joining us. We were going to have Barry on, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So thank you, Matty, for coming on today. And if you can let everybody know where they can find you on social media, that would be much appreciated, mate.
Yep. First of all, Matt, thank you for having me on and sending me the invites. You can find me on Twitter at Matty363803881. I generally tweet all different. If you want to follow me and have a good laugh and a joke about what I tweet, please do. It's just for a bit of laughter. I don't take Twitter too seriously.
Matt, you need to change that Twitter name.
I do. Once I figure that out, I'm going to change it. I'm still yet to figure that out.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time, your Twitter handle, just so people can get it there.
It's at Matthew363803881. As soon as I figure out how to change it, I'm going to change it.
Brilliant. It's like a passcode for the lockers at the gym. You know, it's very long. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's where the idea came from.
There you go. He's like, make it long, make it harder for myself, train my brain. Good one. Big up Luca as well. Thank you for coming on the show on Gunners from the Corners the other day. We are going to be back this week. We're talking about everything football from La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, Ligue 1, Eredivisie, and a few leagues from around the world. We're going to be bringing back the Theta show too. So keep tuned, everybody. And thank you so much for tuning in today. It really has been a good one. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, wherever you are in the world. And smash like, share, subscribe if you can, because it really does help. We'll see you again sometime this week. Until then, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.